In 1892, two sisters from the Sisters of Charity selected a site in Colfax to construct what would serve as the first hospital in Whitman County.
A local priest from Uniontown went down to Portland and talked to the Sisters of Charity there and said that these towns up on the Palouse needed a hospital. And they came up in 1892, took a look at the place, and then they started building this, laying the cornerstone in 1893 and completing the building in 1894. The part they built was the center. Was the center section, and it was a beautiful Victorian structure. And then above the second floor, there was a mansard roof with a series of beautiful dormer windows.
The hospital facility grew over the next 7 decades, eventually adding flanking extensions and a makeover that effectively erased its late Victorian roots, leaving the building with a more classical, symmetrical appearance as seen today.
And when they expanded then in 1917, after being quite successful, they built the wing on here to the east side. They changed the door in the front, and then they removed that mansard roof and made what looked like an attic into a fourth story. The tower that originally had been there is unfortunately gone and is replaced by this pediment here and the cross at the top. It is nice to stand here right now and see that that old Victorian stuff is still there, but then it's been given a unity in 1917 when they rebuilt it in a modern style. The architectural structure is fantastic.
In 1964, rather than invest in expensive upgrades to the historic structure, the hospital board opted to relocate their operation, leaving St. Ignatius to serve as an assisted care facility. The last residents moved out in 2000, and since that time the building has been left largely unsecured and open to the elements.
There's a lot of asbestos, a lot of mold, there's a lot of water damage. You go up there, there's one room where the crust of the floor actually rises about 2 feet from where it should. The wood's just bubbled up. The roof on the whole western half of this facility is actually starting to blow off, so significant concerns there. The bones of the facility are great, but we really need to address the issue now, because the longer we let this facility slide, it's going to be a lot more costly to get an active use in there.
A planned redevelopment of the building fell through during the economic recession, and the project contractor was assigned ownership of the building when the prior owner failed to pay for services.
Well, we have been looking for some sort of development company to essentially take this over. There is some interest. We continue to assist on that front. Ultimately, what we would like to see happen is where this is preserved and essentially it's remodeled. It's a fantastic facility.
The present owner is open to ideas for redevelopment and has cooperated with the city by boarding up first-floor windows and doors to secure the building. The property is for sale, but to date, no viable offer for purchase or redevelopment has been forthcoming.
Certainly in the upper floors for some sort of housings or condos. Someone has even raised the question that we are close enough to Pullman that WSU students might be quite interested to live out here rather than in Pullman. It's a beautiful site. Obviously, something of this size has to be a mixed-use facility. Some sort of a restaurant, brew pub, some shops.
It definitely is one of the top priorities to get this thing rehabbed. It was in the State of the City address that Mayor Vanek gave, because this is definitely very important in the community and you can see it from all over the place.
We want to try and draw attention to it because it is obvious if nothing is done, there's going to be some walls crumbling down here. And there's no reason why this couldn't actually be saved. It is quite an icon, quite a symbol. Most people in the area that were born before 1964 were born in this hospital, and they have wonderful, wonderful feelings about it. And as some sort of adaptive reuse, this seems like a marvelous building that could be preserved and could be used in a creative and a productive way to actually benefit the town and the community, which hospital was built for in the first place to do that.